Most people spend their lives believing that circumstances determine their future, but the truth is that your beliefs determine how you respond to those circumstances. Two people can face the same challenge, experience the same setback, and have access to the same opportunities, yet produce completely different results. The difference is not always intelligence, talent, or resources. The difference is the story each person tells themselves. One believes, "This is impossible," while the other believes there must be a way. That single difference in belief changes every decision they make from that point forward. Your mind is constantly looking for evidence to support what you already believe. If you believe you are capable, you begin noticing opportunities instead of obstacles. You become willing to learn, to improve, and to keep moving even when things become difficult. On the other hand, if you believe you are destined to fail, every setback becomes proof that you should give up. Every mistake feels permanent. Every criticism feels personal. The beliefs you carry act like invisible instructions that shape your thoughts, your emotions, and ultimately your actions. Think about how many dreams are abandoned before they even begin. It is rarely because people lack potential. More often, they lack belief. They convince themselves they are too old, too young, too inexperienced, or too ordinary. They compare themselves to others and decide they cannot compete. Instead of taking the first step, they spend years waiting for confidence to appear. But confidence is not something you receive before action. It is something you earn by proving to yourself that you can overcome challenges one step at a time. Every successful achievement begins as an idea that someone chooses to believe in before anyone else does. Long before the results become visible, the belief must already exist. That belief becomes the fuel that keeps a person working when progress is slow. It keeps them learning when mistakes happen. It reminds them that temporary failure is not a permanent identity. Without belief, people quit too early. With belief, they remain committed long enough to see results. Your daily thoughts matter more than you realize. Every morning you have the opportunity to strengthen or weaken your own mindset. If you repeatedly tell yourself that you are strong, capable, disciplined, and determined, those thoughts begin influencing your behavior. You start making choices that match your new identity. Instead of avoiding difficult tasks, you face them. Instead of making excuses, you accept responsibility. Instead of fearing failure, you see every experience as a lesson that brings you closer to your goal. Belief also changes the way you see problems. When you have a weak mindset, every obstacle appears larger than your ability. When you have a strong mindset, every obstacle becomes a chance to grow stronger. Challenges stop looking like roadblocks and begin looking like opportunities to develop patience, resilience, creativity, and courage. You no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, you ask, "What can this teach me?" That shift in perspective transforms frustration into determination. Your environment also influences your beliefs. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, criticism, and people who doubt every ambition, it becomes difficult to maintain confidence. But when you fill your mind with encouraging ideas, meaningful goals, and people who inspire growth, your belief becomes stronger. You begin expecting more from yourself because you see what is possible. Protecting your mindset is just as important as developing your skills, because the strongest abilities become useless if you do not believe they can make a difference. The greatest transformation in your life begins the moment you stop allowing your past to define your future. Your previous failures do not decide where you are going unless you give them permission. Every new day gives you another opportunity to think differently, act differently, and become a stronger version of yourself. Your future is created by the beliefs you choose today, and every action you take either strengthens those beliefs or weakens them. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they need to feel completely ready before they take the first step. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect amount of confidence, or the perfect set of circumstances. They convince themselves that one day everything will align, and then they will finally begin pursuing their dreams. But life rarely works that way. The perfect moment is an illusion. Those who achieve extraordinary things are not the ones who waited until they felt ready. They are the ones who decided to move forward despite uncertainty. Think about every major achievement in life. No one begins as an expert. Every successful entrepreneur started without knowing everything. Every athlete entered the field without mastering every skill. Every great speaker once stood in front of an audience with nervousness in their heart. Every leader had moments of self-doubt before gaining the confidence that people admire today. The difference is that they refused to let uncertainty stop them. They understood that experience comes from doing, not from waiting. Confidence is often misunderstood. Many people believe confidence comes first and action follows. In reality, action comes first and confidence follows. Every time you complete a difficult task, your mind collects evidence that you are capable. Every challenge you overcome strengthens your belief in yourself. Every small victory becomes another brick in the foundation of lasting confidence. If you never take action, your confidence has no opportunity to grow. Imagine standing at the edge of a swimming pool, wanting to learn how to swim. You can read every book, watch every video, and listen to every expert, but none of that will teach your body how to swim until you enter the water. The same principle applies to every area of life. Knowledge is valuable, but knowledge without action produces very little change. Real growth begins the moment you stop preparing endlessly and start applying what you already know. Fear often disguises itself as preparation. People say they need more time, more research, more training, or more resources, when deep inside they are simply afraid of failing. There is nothing wrong with preparation, but preparation becomes a problem when it turns into procrastination. Ask yourself honestly whether you are preparing to succeed or preparing to avoid discomfort. Growth always requires stepping into situations where you do not have all the answers. Mistakes are not signs that you should stop. They are signs that you are learning. Every mistake teaches you something that success never could. Every failure reveals a weakness that can be improved. Every setback develops resilience that cannot be built through comfort alone. People who fear making mistakes remain stuck in the same place, while those who accept mistakes as part of the process continue moving closer to their goals. The first step does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be real. A small action taken today has far greater value than a perfect plan that never leaves your imagination. Progress is built one decision at a time. One phone call, one workout, one page written, one lesson learned, one opportunity accepted. These small actions may seem insignificant at first, but over time they create extraordinary results that others mistake for overnight success. Your future is shaped by what you consistently do, not by what you occasionally think about. Every day you delay taking action, you allow fear to strengthen its grip on your mind. Every day you choose action instead, you weaken fear and strengthen belief. Momentum begins with a single step, and once that momentum starts, each new action becomes slightly easier than the last. You begin trusting yourself because you repeatedly prove that you can face challenges without running away from them. Stop measuring your readiness by how comfortable you feel. Measure it by your willingness to grow. If your dream matters to you, begin before everything feels certain. Learn while moving, improve while working, adapt while progressing. The people who transform their lives are not the ones who waited until they felt fearless. They are the ones who chose to act while fear was still present, trusting that each step forward would reveal the next opportunity and build the confidence they were searching for. Fear is one of the most misunderstood emotions in the world. Most people see it as a warning to stop, turn around, or stay where they are. They believe that if they feel afraid, it means they are making the wrong decision. But what if fear is not a stop sign? What if fear is actually a signal that you are standing at the edge of growth? Every meaningful achievement in life requires you to step into uncertainty. The moment you decide to chase a bigger dream, learn a new skill, start a business, change your career, or pursue a purpose greater than yourself, fear naturally appears. It is not there to destroy you. It is there to test how badly you want what is on the other side. Think about the moments in your life when you grew the most. They were probably not the easiest moments. They were the times when you faced uncertainty, accepted discomfort, and refused to give up. Growth has never been comfortable because comfort and growth cannot exist in the same place for very long. If you always choose what feels safe, you will also choose what keeps you the same. Every level of success demands a new version of yourself, and becoming that person requires walking through situations that make you uncomfortable. The biggest difference between successful people and those who remain stuck is not that one group feels less fear. Everyone experiences fear. The difference is how they respond to it. Some people let fear become an excuse to wait for another day. Others use that same feeling as proof that they are moving beyond their limits. They understand that every challenge they overcome expands their confidence. Every difficult conversation, every bold decision, and every calculated risk strengthens their ability to handle even greater responsibilities in the future. Fear often creates stories that have no connection to reality. It whispers that you are not good enough, that people will laugh at you, that failure will define your life forever. It convinces you to imagine the worst possible outcome while ignoring all the opportunities that could come from taking action. The problem is that many people believe those stories without questioning them. They surrender before the battle even begins. But fear is not truth. It is simply an emotional reaction to uncertainty. You do not have to obey every thought that enters your mind. The greatest victories often begin with a single courageous decision. You do not need to eliminate fear before taking action. In fact, courage only exists because fear exists. If there were no fear, there would be no courage. Every time you choose action despite uncertainty, you send a powerful message to yourself that fear is no longer in control. Your confidence grows because you prove that your decisions are guided by purpose rather than emotion. Instead of asking yourself how to avoid fear, ask yourself how to use it. Let fear remind you that your dream is important. Let it push you to prepare better, focus harder, and give your full effort. Transform nervous energy into determination. Turn anxiety into preparation. Turn doubt into discipline. The same energy that fuels fear can also fuel extraordinary performance when it is directed toward meaningful action instead of endless worry. Every successful person has experienced moments when quitting seemed easier than continuing. They faced rejection, criticism, disappointment, and uncertainty. The reason they reached their goals was not because life became easier. It was because they became stronger. They refused to allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. They understood that fear loses its power each time it is confronted with action. The next time fear appears in your life, do not see it as an enemy standing in your way. See it as a challenge inviting you to discover what you are truly capable of becoming. The path to confidence is not found by running away from fear, but by walking directly through it, one step at a time, allowing every challenge to build greater resilience, stronger character, deeper belief, and an unshakable determination to keep moving forward. Discipline is the bridge between where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow. Many people believe success is created by occasional bursts of motivation, but motivation is unpredictable. Some days you wake up feeling inspired, excited, and ready to conquer the world. Other days you feel tired, discouraged, or distracted. If your progress depends only on how you feel, your results will always be inconsistent. That is why discipline is far more powerful than motivation. Discipline allows you to continue moving forward even when your emotions tell you to stop. The people who accomplish extraordinary things are not necessarily the most talented or the smartest. They are often the ones who master their daily habits. They understand that every small action matters. A single workout may not transform your body, but hundreds of workouts over time will. Reading a few pages of a book may not make you an expert today, but reading consistently every day will eventually fill your mind with knowledge that changes your thinking. Saving a small amount every week may seem insignificant, but over time, those small decisions create financial stability. Great success is built through ordinary actions repeated with extraordinary consistency. Many people underestimate the power of small improvements because they are focused only on immediate results. They want dramatic change overnight. When they do not see quick progress, they become frustrated and quit. They fail to realize that meaningful progress is often invisible in the beginning. Just like planting a seed, nothing appears to happen for a while. Beneath the surface, however, roots are growing stronger every day. Eventually, the results become impossible to ignore because consistency always produces what inconsistency never can. Discipline is not about making life harder. It is about making your future better. Every disciplined choice you make today becomes a gift to your future self. When you choose to wake up early instead of pressing the snooze button, you strengthen your character. When you complete your responsibilities before seeking entertainment, you build self-respect. When you honor your commitments even when no one is watching, you develop integrity. These moments may seem small, but they shape the person you become. Your habits become your identity. If you repeatedly choose discipline, you begin seeing yourself as someone who finishes what they start. You no longer rely on excuses because your actions speak louder than your intentions. Every disciplined decision reinforces the belief that you are capable of achieving difficult things. Over time, discipline stops feeling like a struggle and becomes part of who you are. One of the greatest enemies of discipline is the belief that missing one day does not matter. While everyone experiences setbacks, allowing one missed opportunity to become a permanent habit is dangerous. Successful people understand that perfection is not the goal. Consistency is. If they stumble, they recover quickly. They do not waste energy feeling guilty. They simply return to the habits that move them closer to their vision. Every new day offers another chance to stay committed. Discipline also requires learning to delay immediate pleasure for long-term rewards. It means choosing growth over comfort, responsibility over excuses, and purpose over distraction. The world is full of endless temptations that steal your attention and weaken your focus. Every time you choose your priorities instead of your impulses, you strengthen your ability to control your life rather than allowing your emotions to control you. Imagine where your life could be 1 year from now if you improved by just a small amount every single day. The changes might seem invisible from one day to the next, but over weeks and months they become remarkable. The strongest buildings are constructed one brick at a time, and the strongest character is built one disciplined decision at a time. Every choice you make either moves you closer to your goals or further away from them. Success is not found in one extraordinary moment, but in the ordinary moments when you choose to stay committed, remain focused, and continue taking small, Purposeful actions every single day, regardless of how you feel, your greatest asset is not your education, your talent, your experience, or your resources. Your greatest asset is your mind. Everything you accomplish in life begins with a single thought. Every decision you make, every habit you build, every relationship you create, and every goal you pursue is influenced by the way you think. If your mind is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, those thoughts will shape your actions. But if your mind is filled with confidence, purpose, and possibility, you begin creating a life that reflects those beliefs. This is why mastering your mind is one of the most important responsibilities you will ever have. Every day your mind receives thousands of messages. Some come from the people around you. Others come from social media, television, news, and your own past experiences. Not every message deserves your attention. If you allow every negative opinion to settle in your mind, you will slowly begin believing that your limits are real. That is why you must become the gatekeeper of your own thinking. Protect your mind with the same determination that you would protect your most valuable possession, because your future depends on what you repeatedly allow into your thoughts. The conversations you have with yourself are often more powerful than the conversations you have with anyone else. If you constantly tell yourself that you are not capable, your actions will eventually reflect those words. If you remind yourself every day that you are growing, learning, and becoming stronger, your behavior begins to change. Your internal dialogue creates your external reality. Speak to yourself with the same encouragement you would offer someone you deeply believe in, because your mind is always listening. Your environment also plays a powerful role in shaping your future. The people you spend time with influence your expectations, your standards, and even your confidence. If you are surrounded by individuals who constantly complain, make excuses, and avoid responsibility, it becomes easy to adopt the same mindset. Negativity spreads quickly when it becomes normal. But when you surround yourself with people who challenge you to improve, encourage your growth, and inspire you through their actions, your own potential begins to expand. The people around you either raise your standards or lower them. This does not mean you need perfect people in your life. It means you should seek people who are committed to becoming better. Spend time with those who value honesty, discipline, learning, and perseverance. Learn from people who have achieved the kind of life you admire. Observe how they think, how they solve problems, and how they respond to setbacks. Success leaves clues, and every positive influence becomes another opportunity for you to grow. Your physical environment matters just as much as your social environment. A cluttered, distracting space often leads to a cluttered, distracted mind. A well-organized environment supports focus and productivity. Small changes, such as keeping your workspace clean, limiting unnecessary distractions, and creating routines that support your goals, can have a significant impact on your daily performance. Success is easier to maintain when your environment supports the habits you want to build, instead of constantly pulling you away from them. Another important part of mastering your mind is learning to guard your attention. Your attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess, because whatever captures your attention eventually shapes your thinking. If you spend hours consuming negativity, comparing yourself to others, or focusing on problems you cannot control, your energy begins to disappear. But when you intentionally focus on learning, creating, improving, and solving meaningful challenges, your mind becomes stronger and more disciplined. Every challenge you face gives you a choice. You can allow it to weaken your mindset, or you can use it to strengthen your character. Every setback can either become an excuse or a lesson. Every criticism can either destroy your confidence or motivate you to improve. The choice always begins in your mind. When you train yourself to focus on solutions instead of excuses, opportunities instead of obstacles, and growth instead of comfort, you begin creating an environment inside and around you that supports lasting success, stronger confidence, greater resilience, and a mindset that refuses to surrender. Every meaningful goal demands more than excitement. It demands commitment. Anyone can feel motivated at the beginning of a journey when the vision is clear and the possibilities seem endless. The true test comes when progress slows down, obstacles appear, and success feels farther away than it did on the first day. That is the moment when commitment separates those who achieve their dreams from those who abandon them. Commitment means deciding that your goal is no longer an option you pursue only when it feels convenient. It becomes a promise you refuse to break, regardless of the challenges standing in your way. Too many people quit because they mistake difficulty for failure. They believe that if the journey becomes hard, it must be a sign that they are on the wrong path. But every worthwhile achievement comes with resistance. Every successful person has faced disappointment, rejection, delays, and moments of uncertainty. These experiences are not evidence that your dream is impossible. They are part of the price that every person must pay to accomplish something extraordinary. The question is not whether obstacles will appear. The question is whether your commitment is stronger than those obstacles. Your focus determines your direction. If you spend your time looking at everything that could go wrong, your energy will be consumed by fear. If you constantly compare your progress with someone else's success, frustration will replace determination. Instead, focus your attention on the next step you can take today. Great accomplishments are not created by worrying about the entire journey. They are created by consistently taking one meaningful step after another. Every completed task, no matter how small, moves you closer to the life you are working to build. There will be days when you feel like giving up. There will be moments when your efforts seem unnoticed and your results appear invisible. During those times, remember why you started. Remember the vision that inspired you to begin. Your purpose must always be greater than your temporary emotions. Feelings change from one day to the next, but a clear purpose gives you the strength to continue even when your motivation disappears. The people who reach remarkable goals are not always the most inspired. They are often the most committed. Believing that you will succeed does not mean expecting an easy journey. It means trusting that every challenge is preparing you for something greater. Every setback teaches patience. Every failure provides valuable lessons. Every disappointment develops resilience. Instead of asking why life is becoming difficult, ask what these experiences are teaching you. Growth is hidden inside the challenges that most people try to avoid. Those who remain committed discover strengths they never knew they possessed. One of the greatest dangers is allowing temporary failure to become a permanent decision. Failing at one attempt does not make you a failure. Missing one opportunity does not mean there are no more opportunities. Losing one battle does not mean the war is over. Every successful journey includes moments when nothing seems to work. Those moments are not the end of the story unless you decide to stop writing it. Persistence gives success the time it needs to arrive. You also need to protect your commitment from negative influences. Not everyone will understand your dream. Some people will question your decisions. Others will tell you to settle for less because your ambition makes them uncomfortable. Listen carefully to advice, but never allow someone else's limited vision to become your reality. The people who change their lives are often the ones who continue believing long after everyone else has stopped expecting them to succeed. Success belongs to those who keep showing up. Keep learning when others stop studying. Keep improving when others become comfortable. Keep working when others are making excuses. Every day you remain committed, you become stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the opportunities ahead. Your determination creates momentum, and that momentum eventually produces results that seem impossible to those who gave up too soon. Stay focused on your purpose, refuse to surrender to temporary setbacks, and continue moving forward with the unshakable belief that every step, every lesson, every sacrifice, and every challenge is bringing you closer to the success you have already decided to achieve.